Hello everyone, this is your man Clash from DOE, coming to you with the second edition of Whiteboard Sessions with Clash. Super excited to get right back into the Scoundrel faction, which I know you should know by now is my favorite right now. So what we're going to talk about tonight though is very specific. It's actually the three things that you probably don't know about Scoundrels that you really should. I'm going to cover them. I'm going to show you some videos to give you some footage, and then hopefully you'll have some good takeaways. I'm also going to let you all know some of the future versions of whiteboards that are going to be coming out, and if you have suggestions, take those as well. So let's get started. I'm going to talk quickly about the first thing, which is L3, the prepared mechanic. Most people have really no clue how it works or why it works. Why does she have sort of a half taunt? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. However, if you read through what it actually says, you will notice very specific language about the prepared mechanic and what it means to her taunt. It specifically says that whenever she becomes prepared, she will taunt. She starts prepared, so she gets it automatically, right? At the beginning of the battle, you see the taunt overhead, you see she's prepared, great. Every time she marks up to MK3, she gets prepared as well. However, what you might not have known is that she can be given taunt. So this is something I just quickly took some footage of. You'll see in this battle, we've got young Han Solo and of course Landino. I went ahead and just dropped the taunt there instead of re-taunting. But what he can do, if you'll see very quickly, is that young Han can actually give his prepared to L3. She's already prepared, yes. However, when she becomes prepared, which this action will ultimately be doing, she then is given taunt. So if you're ever using them on offense, or maybe you didn't really realize some of the viability of young Solo, it's really good to know. Second thing. This is about the guard mechanic for Chewy. There are so many cool things that people are doing with guard. Who do you put it on? How do you use it? The simple fact that you can have a character not be stunned, not be dazed, almost immune to the things that make people the most impervious to a good defense. Guard is awesome. What I would say is, there are a few options on who you can put it on that I think are the most important. Don't put it on Qira. If you're running it under a Qira lead like I do, I would mod her for more protection and health if you can. These others do really well for the simple fact that they're the ones you don't want to lose the ability to assist, to counter, to ultimately make a difference on the damage, because this is going to be your high damage group. And so I really want to make sure that you know that. The second thing you probably don't know about guard, and I hope that if you hadn't seen it before, this isn't your first time, but if it's not, that's fine. Guard will persist through death. If you've got VC on your team and you lose, let's say, in this instance, you'll see I lost Qira. She didn't get revived. However, if I lost your boy Han Solo there, he would come back with guard. But if Vandor revives Chewy, it's unfortunate. However, guard does not come back with him. It's lost, it's gone forever, and I think probably a lot of you knew that, but I still get a ton of questions on that one, so I want to make sure that we cover that in this video. All right, last thing here, and this is really about the tight combinations you can have with Han and Chewy under a Qira lead, but adding the new C-3PO. You could write a full-blown novel on C-3PO and his kit, what he does. There's so many things that can break the game with his kit. The theory crafters out there love him for that very reason. However, I really want to highlight just how incredible the damage is under a Qira lead, because it's something that I think you'll see a lot of really great synergy here. So we've got Qira lead, we're using Han, we're using Chewy, we're using L3, and we're going to use, of course, C-3PO. First thing to remember about her is the lead. If you haven't seen it, read it all the way through. It's amazing. But, of course, it increases the damage to attackers. It's going to make the tank more tanky, and that's great. Her unique is also going to help because that increases damage and potency. Her special, that's the one that I think is the coolest about this whole deal. When she uses joint operation, especially if she uses Han Solo to call, they're doing 30% more damage, which is significant. They're also getting a 50% chance to expose both times. On top of that, you'll remember that C-3PO is giving all of the rebels expose on basic. He's also giving them up to 30% potency. So you're talking about what seems to be a quadruple, quintuple damage output experience here between those 4 characters alone. And if you've set at your L3, which I haven't yet, I likely will because I've got she's just amazing. She also acts as another layer of defense to protect your C-3PO, who I still in this instance think should be the one that's guarded. I don't know how you get there otherwise. Qira is pretty easy to get over the protection for him, so I think C-3PO is great to have here. So who I'm going up against is a guy in my shard here. He put in his best CLS squad, or one of his best CLS squads, and he's Rockstar with Wallet Warriors. Ultimately, what I want to show you here is just a couple of these mega damage hits. This is joint operation, and you can see there, she's already hitting and getting the exposed damage. He's going to go ahead and double tap on top of that. You're going to get the damage from L3 because anyone that's already got prepared is going to be damaging as well. And then damn near instantly, you've just blown up Chewbacca, and now the whole kit for this squad that you're opposing is pretty much suspect to anything you want to do. There's really no way they're going to come back from this when you've got the damage you've got, and they're stuck behind what they have. So I think this is a really good example of some of the ways that the Scoundrels with the Rebel faction overlay can be utilized with the C-3PO. I've also seen and liked and experienced it under the Jin lead, because she obviously can give a chance to expose, so you're exposing on top of exposing on top of exposing. But I think most people are preferring the CLS or the Z-Fin just because there's so much good turn meter manipulation and other mechanics that those ones bring. But for 2 characters, 2 leaders that aren't super legendary, I think this is a pretty cool and fun option for your Scoundrel faction. Alright, so last but not least, I'm going to show you, just skip ahead and watch this damage that happens on R2. It is going to turn him into basically sawdust. I love it. You all should too. So let's talk now about where we're going with this. Whiteboards to come. I'm going to do a deep dive on Landino. I just seen so many people have to gear him for the ship and not really know how to utilize him. He definitely is a totally misunderstood character. I think it's going to be really helpful. Second, modding. I get questions on mods all the time, and normally I'd say let's just have the discussion because there's so many variables, but I'm definitely going to do mods 101 and 201. Lastly, where do bounty hunters fit in? There's lots of ways in which bounty hunters can be applied to the Scoundrel faction within the Solo and other characters, but let's go deeper in on those. So thank you all for joining. I hope you learned a little bit of something around Scoundrels. And if you haven't already, come join our Discord server. It is in the notes. Thanks so much.